Unemployed and Afraid acknowledges the traditional owners of the land we have recorded this episode on and of the land where you, the listener, are tuning in from. We would like to pay our respects to elders past, present, and extend our respect to any First Nations, Aboriginal, and Torres Strait Islander people joining us today, acknowledging that this always was and always will be Aboriginal land. Welcome to Unemployed and Afraid, a podcast that explores the glorious mess of building your own business with the people doing it. I'm your host and fellow business builder, Kim Curtin. Thank you for being here. Let's get into some good, honest, small business chat. Hello, business builder. As always, it's an honor to have your ears and for you to have chosen this podcast, Unemployed and Afraid, as your inspo / sidekick / connection point on all things small business building. And particularly in this, our first ever mini series in which I'm bringing you a personal insight into the building of an online course. Maybe you've thought about doing one yourself. I'm really hoping that this will give you the inspo and the information you need to help you get there. I am so excited to be doing this. And in this episode, we're kicking off with a bit of an update from me. I'm going to give you all the background on what are you doing about my business building endeavors and all the info about what this mini series is going to bring to you today and into the episodes coming up. So let's just get right on into it because I'm busting to present you this first ever mini series in partnership with Squarespace, which I'm just so stoked about. So business owners and actually aspiring business owners, if you haven't decided to take the leap just yet, I'm speaking to you here too, of course. You already know that Unemployed and Afraid, this podcast is here for you. And that we're all about sharing the very real feels and the chaotic journey that is the path of small business ownership and small business at every level of SME. So micro, solopreneur, small with a handful of staff, medium with some bigger staff, big turnovers, small turnovers. So all of the small business humans that are so brave out there doing their own thing, we're here for you so that we can keep each other inspired and continuing to start, grow or scale wherever we're at with our own thing. And of course, you and I, we've been right alongside each other since 2021 when I released this podcast and through my own journey of business pivot, build and rebuild, of which there have been some pivots, which I like to share with you as often as possible so that we're truly in it together as equals. And the way that we all continue to grow, I believe, is by sharing it all. So the good stuff, the learnings, the failures, the successes, and the ideas. So I'm super pumped to bring this mini series to you. I'm sure you can hear it in my voice. I'm busting because it represents what we're all about. And I'm especially very super pumped to do it with a platform and a partner like Squarespace that fully gets what we need as small business owners and is 100% aligned with being there to support you to grow your business in the same way that Unemployed and Afraid is. Okay, preamble aside, what exactly will you learn and get inspo from here? Well, in the same flavor of showing up here for you as your partner in business chaos and learning right alongside you, I'm pretty stoked to take you on my journey as I create my own online course. Well, I know, right? I'm feeling crazy excited and crazy nervous about this too. What the course is for and about exactly, I'll share with you shortly. But the reason I'm sharing the journey of creating it with you here in podcast form is because you too may be sitting on the business diversification opportunity that is creating your own online course. And like me, you might have absolutely no idea where to start and get super overwhelmed with the do a course with me to learn to do an online course or 5 ways to nail your online course rhetoric that is rife on the interwebs. So hopefully at the end of this mini series, you'll feel a little more confident and inspired to create your own online course. Hopefully I will too, and start making your knowledge both help others and work for you, be it now or into the future. Okay, so what exactly am I creating and why? Well, you probably know my backstory way too well by now, but in case you don't, I'm a corporate radio veteran, which makes me both sound and feel very old, but I spent 13 years in the audio business, strategically designing and pitching branded content, which essentially means making creative ideas that live within a radio network's audio ecosystem for brands. So big brands like Vodafone, Macca's, Woolworths, Ford, etc., etc. Since I left that career, I've been building my own small business, or shall I say small businesses, which started in teaching yoga, then moved to creating and selling ceramics, the recipe content creation for brands. It's been a busy couple of years, but basically anything that wasn't media. Then, lo and behold, while I left the world of audio to be a small business owner, the business of audio apparently never left me. As over the last 2 years or so, I've been building this incredible podcast for small business owners into a business itself. Alongside this podcast and some other business endeavors, which I cannot wait to share with you soon, ecom, very excited, but later, I also consult on podcast production. So I play the role of a strategy director and the creation of branded podcasts for large enterprise level brands, which basically means I help create strategically smart podcast ideas for brands that want to build and own their own podcast and have it really connect with their target audience. If you're still like, what the fuck is a branded podcast? Let's go just a smidge deeper. Podcasts are incredibly engaging environments, obviously. Like right now, you're choosing to listen to me. Thank you for that. Or if it's in a regular episode, you're listening to me and my guest talk about the journey of building a small business for anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour. Sometimes longer in the instance of my favorite business owning friends, Carlin and Chris from PPHH Store. Great / very long episode, that one. Well worth it. Anyway, smart brands recognize that if they can create an environment where a listener will choose to spend 30 plus minutes with them, well, they've got a bit of a marketing dream on their hands. They get to create a podcast conversation that matters to their customers, their listeners, so delivering value to them, and have themselves and their brand at the center of it. It's pretty powerful stuff for a business if it's done right. Now, the if is where I get particularly passionate, which I won't go into too much in this podcast, but branded podcasts have some key differences from creator-led podcasts. And that's what you're listening to right now, a creator-led podcast. It's by me. And I have years worth of experience in exactly how to do a branded podcast right. I want to take all that knowledge and give it to small business owners to help them create their own branded podcasts. Because, well, small business owners are the hardest working humans on the planet and deserve access to the same level of strategic knowledge that big brands use to create this kind of thing. And if a branded pod can give epic results to big business, I want the same for small businesses. Because, I mean, we are 98% of the economy. We kind of deserve more airtime, a lot more airtime. We are the backbone. Funny side story. I am going on a tangent even by myself, but I was chatting off the pod with my previous guest, Odette Barry, another ripping episode, that one. She is a true gem, about this very thing. Why branded podcasts are so brilliant for a business and how to do them well. When she said to me, Kim, do you teach this stuff anywhere? Because you really know a lot about this and it's super valuable information. And in truly serendipitous timing, in that conversation, or shortly before that conversation, I'd just seen the release of Squarespace courses pop up in my LinkedIn feed. So I was connected with the marketing team at Squarespace and they had shared something and it was in my LinkedIn feed and I was like, this is very cool. What is this thing? And that had been sitting sort of like there in my mind. I was like, that's really cool. It's really got my attention. So with Odette saying that, having just seen that, it was a big light bulb moment for me and a bit of a plan started forming. So thank you, Odette, for mirroring this to me and getting my brain ticking. And can I just say, listener, seriously, talking to other business owners is the biggest gift you can give yourself. So get out there and find some business friends if you don't have any just yet, or always slide into my DMs for a chat because I do love them. Honestly, though, I had never seriously thought about creating a course, particularly for something like creating ideas, given how challenging it is to get that information out of your brain and make it make sense to another human. But it was something about this idea from Odette that really stayed with me. Also, I had some pretty large misconceptions about creating an online course, probably the same kind of misconception that some people and brands have about podcasts, ironically. It's that unnecessary discourse of there's already too many out there. I had to call bullshit on myself at some stage because, like I say to someone who's thinking about starting a podcast and thinking there's already too many, Are there too many blogs out there? Would you second guess creating a blog or a journal or something for your business? Are there too many Instagram pages, for example? Too many TikTok accounts? No, there's not. And there's not a course or a podcast by you, and your unique, hard earned knowledge is invaluable and potentially very helpful to someone else. And as with most things, it's all about getting out of our own way, exactly like we have to do in so many aspects in business. And so in this instance, there's not an online course from me about this unique aspect of podcasting. And this course may just really help some small business owners create something magical and powerful for their business growth by creating their own branded podcast. And that sort of thing just really gets me right in the feels. If there is something I can offer to help, I absolutely want to push myself to do it, no matter how nervous and unsure I am. So after realizing I had said valuable information to share and a business sitting within my business that could also be a wonderful opportunity for me too, I got to work. And that's what I'm going to share with you over the next 4 weeks/4 episodes. So I hope you're feeling excited to join me fully alongside as I learn how to put together all of my crazy random years of knowledge into an online course, one that's designed to help small business owners leverage their amazing brand into a valuable podcast series of their own, slash your own, maybe if you're interested, with a brand partner in Squarespace that also deeply values and supports small business owners, which is a win bloody win in my eyes. And to see how easy it is for you too to create a course with Squarespace Courses, which is a super cool new feature from Squarespace. I have both of my sites with Squarespace, always have, unemployedandafraid.com.au and goodsideofthebed.com.au. And I quite genuinely love how easy they make it. And it's very good looking. So right now, where I'm at is I have my personal goodsideofthebed.com.au website. So that's where I do a lot of my work outside of this podcast that I'm redeveloping. It's where this course and this offering will sit. And I have my idea for an online course, and that is it. That's all I have right now. What I need to do is develop my knowledge into something that's learnable for others, enjoyable to learn for others too. Figure out exactly what content I'm going to create and why, like what's the most valuable and in what format as well. Make it into a real course structure and build the damn thing, figure out how to price it, and then work out how to market it and go live. So like nothing too small, not too much work to do, but I'm confident that I can make it happen. Here are some of the things that I'm a little worried about with this process too. Maybe this is some of the stuff that you might be thinking about as well with an online course, but I'm worried that I've bitten off more than I can chew content wise. I think with these things, you never quite know how you're going to go with it until you get in and get started. And I am nervous about that. I'm worried that I'll get the structure wrong and that it won't land well for a user. Aren't we all just so nervous about feedback from people? But I am worried about that. I'm worried that a course on creating strategic branded podcast concepts is far too niche and that no one needs it. Although if you're a brand who wants to create a pod, I really do think you need it. That I don't have a big enough audience in which to promote my course to. That's something that worries me. I've always been really challenged by the thought that you need to have like 400,000 Instagram followers or 1 million on TikTok to release anything, particularly a course. And there's loads more fears I probably haven't even realized that I have yet. In the next episode of this series, I'm going to sit down with a Squarespace Circle member who is essentially a specialized Squarespace web designer who has loads of experience with building courses, with creating amazing content within the platform. And they understand that the tools and can give me some proper good and practical advice about how to create a really great online course. So super excited to bend their ear and share that info directly with you too as I do so. Then in the episode after that, I'm going to be making a reel. So I'll be doing this in the behind the scenes while creating this podcast series for you. And I'm going to take you through the process of choosing my course structure, mapping out my content, mapping out my delivery methods, the actual creation of the content and the course content, what that experience is like and how I'm doing it, how I'm pricing it, all my insider knowledge of how I'm going to go about making it real. I'm just going to give it all to you. And lastly, in the final episode of the mini series, in a few weeks' time, I'm going to prep to launch it and figure out how I'll get it out there, what marketing I should use and am going to use and how I'll exactly use that. And ideally on the cheap, because I'm not about just going to go buy a whole bunch of ads. That's not going to happen here. So I'm going to get really crafty and sharing everything I've learned through the process so that when it's time for you to build your online course, maybe it will feel a little less daunting. I want to circle back to Squarespace for a second, which is an accidental square circle pun, but just to say that they have made my life so much easier over the last few years by having such a user-friendly and very aesthetic web platform that's given me the confidence to put my ideas out there when I haven't necessarily had all the confidence. And I honestly couldn't be any happier to be building this course with them and unlocking the business that's sitting within my business. Squarespace Courses is a tool for designing, selling, and promoting professional online courses. So if you're a brand conscious entrepreneur interested in creating a course, Squarespace Courses is the place to help you monetize your expertise and generate some passive income because, Joes, don't we love a little bit of passive income? If you want to create your own course in your zone of genius, let's do it together as I create my online course in how to build a big branded podcast for your small business. And I genuinely hope bringing you behind the scenes like this helps to show you how you can build your own online course too. So make sure to join me for the next episode for the Insider Goss with a circle member who's going to be helping me learn everything about what's going to work for an online course, visually, content-wise, all of the things. And I hope that you wish me Godspeed with this task that I've taken on. I would love to know your thoughts on what we're creating here too. So my course, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. I know I've really just given you the top line at the moment, but also this mini series. I'd love to know how you feel about what we're bringing you here. I would love to bring you more mini series on different topics, opportunities, things that matter to small business. So let me know how you feel about this mini series. Slide into my DMs on IG. That's the quickest place to get me. Or you can find my email address at unemployedandafraid.com.au. Anytime you want to leave the pod a review, you know how much I love those. But I won't push you to do those right now. Too many things for you to do. And if you're interested in this course that I'm building, head to goodsideofthebed.com.au and sign up for my newsletter so you can hear about it first and get sneaky eyes on it as soon as it comes out. I will see you next week. Well, I will speak to you, hear you, you'll hear me. I won't see you, which makes me sad. I would like to see you, but I will be here next week, Business Builder, and I hope you'll continue to join me to create some online course magic together and all of the fabulous learnings that we're going to share. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for listening to Unemployed and Afraid, the podcast for small business builders with your host, me, Kim Curtin. If you love it, you can say thanks with a star rating and a review. And of course, join the community on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Find us at Unemployed and Afraid wherever you're hanging out, and I'll see you there.